or Letitia. Feel free to drop in the chat where you're calling in from today.
I'm just setting up our simulcast and then we should begin shortly.
Excellent.
All right.
Ooh,
Chicago.
Nice.
One of my favorite places to visit.
Really, Ben? Is it the pizza, the deep dish?
Yeah, all the food.
Yeah.
Yeah, all the food. My favorite place is Girl and the Goat. I don't know if it's still there, if it survived the pandemic, but that place was amazing. They have I think it's pig face. It's basically the pig cheek is like their main dish. It is really good. It's still here. All right, there we go.
Good news. We got
coming back Chicago
inside
just for that.
scoops.
Yeah. So that's definitely a must go. Also want to say hello to our YouTube audience that's joining us as well. Good morning. It is our Friday offsite event here today. I guess I should share my screen real quick.
Got it.
Yeah, I'll share mine, no problem. Let's see. Oh, I'm doing it the bad way. Hold on one second. I'm not doing the program. All right. So good morning, everyone. Sorry for the little mess up there. It is Aloha Friday. For anyone that doesn't know, out in Hawaii, Aloha Friday is when you bust out your Aloha shirts. That's why I'm wearing my little fancy flower shirt here. It's been a long-standing tradition. There's even a song about it, but it's just kind of like it's Friday, so you celebrate it. It's Friday. You take it a little bit easier, a little bit laxer, and you kind of cruise into the weekend. So, just trying to bring that tradition back here and for Learn It. But today is January 6th. Happy New Year to everybody. It is a new year, a new you. Whole Health Matters is the topic today. Again, this event is being brought to you by Offsite. What Offsite is our online community of business professionals, instructors, thought leaders and everything like that, all coming together in one large online community where we have active discussions, and a lot of it is also we're here to help you guys. Like our instructors are in there. We have Ask the Expert sessions as well, where you can come in and get help on a specific program like Excel, PowerPoint, Word, or also any professional development type issues like time management and stuff like that. So we have a lot of these events, and again, the way to attend all of these is in Offsite. Let's see how it works. This is how it works for these events: is every other Friday at 8:30 Pacific Standard Time. We have something around a monthly theme. Obviously, January is always refresh, new you, new everything like that. Kind of recentering, getting focused for 2023, and we are hoping that we help you hit your goals and everything like that. These are often based on our full length workshops. So what you're getting is actually just a small slice of what our full workshop will encompass. If you do like it, you can always sign up for the full class at www.learnit.com. We have our full schedule is up there. We have a ton of courses, hundreds of classes, and yeah, you can attend it all there. And as always, it's led by subject matter experts and guest speakers. We're a corporate training company. We always keep it professional, and we always bring professionals to present these topics. We're not just grabbing anyone off the street. We do training for Fortune 500 companies. And if you name a company that's in the headquartered in the Bay Area, we've probably did training there as well. So we train, and we do it globally as well. We train across the globe as well. So we have a very far reach as far as our training goes. So we know what we're doing here, as I like to say. But today is Nadia. I think last time I hosted, Nadia, you were the facilitator as well. Nadia is a San Francisco native who's currently is currently far from the best coast after moving away to attend Princeton University. She has since settled in Brooklyn, New York. Nadia considers herself a lifelong learner and has been so happy to find a group of like-minded colleagues at Learn It. She is new to Learn It, but not new to the educational field, having worked in a variety of organizations in the nonprofit and for-profit sectors. She aims to cultivate a fun, comfortable space to explore different ideas in all of her Learn It workshops, in which participants can share their expertise and develop best practices for themselves moving forward. In addition to working at Learn It, you can find her providing academic coaching for K through 12 students, hunting for delicious pastries at local bakeries, and acting in live theater performances. I did try the cronut. I did. I wasn't in New York.
What did you think? What were the flavors?
It was great. I had the blueberry one. He opened up a shop in Caesar's Palace, and I was there in December, and I was able to try that. And the Krugenmann, I think, is the other thing.
Oh, so
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, so good. I was blown away. So guys, if you're at Caesar's Palace, check it out. It's deep in there. It's right by the food court, kind of close by the Starbucks in there. So if you guys know Caesar's Palace in Las Vegas and know where the Starbucks is at, it's a little close by there. I would get the coffee at Starbucks, honestly. The coffee at that place was pretty standard. It wasn't anything special. But yeah, that's Nadia. She'll be presenting in just a second. I just want to, on this part, if you guys want to dive deeper on what we're doing, I just want to go over the community events we have for January. As we mentioned, the theme is Start Strong, as for the year, holistic upskilling for the new year. Obviously, today is the new year, new you, whole health matters. Then on the 11th, as I mentioned, we have these Ask the Experts. It's going to be Excel for beginners. So what you can do is you can show up to this event. You can bring your workbook. You can bring whatever you might be struggling on. And we're going to have an instructor there that's going to be able to help you out. It's really good chance to get one-on-one time with one of our instructors. And to, if there's something that you're just been super struggling with in Excel, it's a great time to show up and get answers to your questions. And they will help you out quite a bit. And then on the 20th, we have strategic thinking for 2023. Again, just getting you centered for approaching the year strategically and, so we can all hit our goals and everything like that. I know everyone has goals to start out the year. And so hopefully we'll hit all those. And then on the 25th, we have Ask the Expert again. That's running great meetings in teams. Again, that's going to be another session where you can come in and ask all your teams related questions. I think the best things you can probably ask about is how to do files or how to create teams and teams and how those all might work and interconnect. Just a tip, guys. So the one on the 20th is our regular Friday event. The one on the 11th and the 25th, if I'm not mistaken, those are on Wednesdays. Those are only available. The ones that are marked blue are only available to offsite members. You have to be a member of offsite. The event is completely run inside offsite. It's not broadcast on YouTube or anything like that. So if you want to take advantage of those ones, and again, I would highly recommend it because you do get that one-on-one time with a professional instructor or professional instructor of these programs. So like I said, Excel is a great one, and so is Teams. So we look forward to having you guys and everything like that. And without further, if you want to join offsite, I guess I should tell you how to join it. It's offsite by learnit.com. You can just scan the QR code there. Again, you get live instructor help, the exclusive Ask the Expert sessions. And then, if you attend all of our sessions for the month, you get a badge certificate, and there's also exclusive offers, discounts, and stuff like that for our live training. Again, that's offsite by learnit.com. And yeah, check it out. We're always there. We're always active. Our instructors are always busy in there, answering your questions and, reaching out. So without further ado, now I'm going to hand it over to Nadia. Go ahead and stop sharing here. And so I hope you guys enjoy today's event. Oh, my bad. I just got to do one more thing. Oh, all right. The board is yours, Nadia.
Awesome. Thanks, Ben. Yeah, last time I facilitated one of these offsite events, Ben asked, since I care about local bakeries and baked goods, what would I recommend? And so I recommended the Dominica and Cell Bakery in New York City. And so that's where he went in Las Vegas to get the cronut. Anyway, moving towards whole health, which maybe does not include a cronut. Let's dive in. Before we get started, I would love to hear in the chat, or see in the chat more rather, what are you thinking about at the top of the new year that brought you here today? So take a moment to think about it. What brought you here today? I'll give you all some time to think about it, and I'll introduce a few things. But feel free to keep entering ideas you have in the chat. Thank you, Carla, for starting us off, refreshing my mind, body, and soul. I love that. We have to look holistically at our beings and experiences when we want to think about how to improve our quality of life. More healthy lifestyle choices, food, exercise, etc. Sophia, you're in the right place. So this is a 1-hour workshop. This is a slice, as Ben said, of our larger Whole Health Matters class that covers a lot more. So this is sort of the intro. We can think of this as sort of things to get the gears moving in your head about what you want to do, what goals you want to set for yourself, etc. Thank you, Kim. Also tips on how to become a better me. Great. Yeah, keep sharing in the chat, everybody. I'd love to hear where you're all coming from. Welcome, Lori and Deidre and Lisa. Wow, we have a bunch of new people since I last checked the participants. And for those of you just joining, drop in the chat where you're calling in from today. We have people from all over the US so far. Great, thanks, Lori. So I'd like to start off with a quote. Rethinking is more likely to happen in a learning culture where growth is the core value and rethinking cycles are routine. In learning cultures, the norm is for people to know what they don't know, doubt their existing practices, and stay curious about new routines to try out. And that's a quote from Adam Grant, the author of Think Again. And so that's what this workshop is all about, staying curious, open-minded, knowing that we don't have all the answers right now. We're always seeking new information and perspective. And we also are really trying to get rooted here in ourselves. Ultimately, that's what we have control over. We don't have control over much else in this world except who we are and how we respond to external stimuli, right? And so I would like to preface this by saying, you already know what works for you and what doesn't work. You have X years of life experience in the workplace, in your personal life, and you have all these data points already that are really useful for you to look back on. And so that will be the focus for us today, is taking a moment to kind of, yes, reset, but allow for that reflection of what has traditionally been working well for you and what you would like to look to improve. So today, in the next 40 minutes or so, we will explore what whole health means as a concept, why it's important. We'll talk a little bit about the science behind the different arenas that we'll be looking at, and how to approach those lifestyle changes that focus on your whole health. And so really, we're looking to gain control here and understanding of ourselves, and recognize and try and locate our blind spots so that we know what to shine a light on to improve. I'm also appreciating what people are dropping in the chat: new beginnings for lifestyle, learning from the past and moving forward. Thank you, Lori and Lori. We have a double Lori in the workshop today. I love that. And so a lot of this will come under the frame of having a positive mindset, because if we just think nothing can be improved, there's no use, give up now, then nothing will change, right? And if we want change, we're going to have to keep that open perspective and that positive mindset moving forward. And so if you're here, looking to take charge of your health, make some changes in your diet, potentially your movement, your sleep patterns, your emotional well-being, you're in the right place. And so let's take a sneak peek at what this whole class has to offer. And so I want to start off with a question. And that is, what is whole health? I would love for you to drop in the chat. What's one word or two words you could use to describe whole health? And just a disclaimer, there is not one right answer. So I look forward to hearing. There are 12 participants. I'd love to see 12 different definitions of whole health in the chat. What does it mean to you? Carla writes, overall well-being. Yeah, that bird's eye view. That's really important. Sophia writes, mind, body, and soul in alignment. Yes. Yeah, having things kind of balanced in a nice equilibrium. We'll definitely be talking about that. What else? What else does whole health mean to you? To me, it might just mean simply feeling good. That when I feel grounded and good in my body, it's the result of being healthy in a variety of ways. Where you are right now, your red dot, you are here. Yeah, I love that, Carla. Full well-being, physical and mental health. Yes, love that, Lori's. Great. Yeah, thanks, Ben, for sharing that. And I'm curious, type in the chat, yes or no, have you heard of this concept before you saw this workshop listed? Welcome, Leanne. Cool, we have some newcomers to this concept. Great. Great, so I'd like to, all of you had great definitions and of your understandings of whole health. I think they all, it's like a multi-sided die or something. You're all describing different sides of the same thing. I love that. Oh, great. A lot of people, this is their first time. I love this concept. The NIH describes whole health as empowering people to focus on restoring and promoting health in multiple interconnected areas. I think the key word there is interconnected. Nothing is siloed off. Our sleep schedule, what we're eating, how we're moving, none of that is alone in the world. It's always in conversation with everything else. This concept started up in the 70s, and the National Institute of Whole Health was established almost 50 years ago now. And they described 5 essential aspects of whole health: physical, emotional, nutritional, environmental, and spiritual. And all of these aspects influence the quality of someone's health and behaviors. And so, above all, and what I love about this concept is that it puts what matters to you most at the center of the equation here. You are in control of this. You have your own, as I said, you have your own life experience about what has worked well, what you'd like to improve, how you want to approach improving. And so this workshop, I hope, can be an empowering way for you to take stock in this new year and think about how you want to actively move forward on your journey to well-being. Great. And so the whole class that LearnIt offers covers 4 of those kind of arenas, right, of whole health: emotional, physical activity or movement, nutrition, and sleep patterns. We're in a tight timeline here today, so I'm going to give you a little snippet of our first quadrant, the emotional well-being health, but I highly encourage you to check out the full class to really dive into all 4 elements. And so when I say emotional well-being, I generally mean having a positive mindset and thinking about how we can rewire our brains to lean more into that positive mindset. And yes, that's possible. Physical activity, there's a reason why I have that written down rather than exercise. Sometimes we have a very limited idea of what exercise is. Maybe I have to go to the gym, right, in order to exercise, when actually I can work up a good sweat just vacuuming my carpet in my living room, right? And so that would count as physical activity. And so again, in the full class, we'll be talking more about all the different ways that you actually are moving around frequently in your lives and how to lean into those kind of less conventional concepts of what exercise is in order to improve your well-being. With nutrition, this class does not talk about which diet's the best, how you're supposed to shop. It actually takes a newer approach that has become popular in social science circles, and that is focusing on mindfulness in eating as a path towards well-being, rather than having harsh and limiting diets. And finally, sleep patterns are so important. Sometimes we have some unhealthy sleep habits that are the result of a lot of different factors in our lives. But this class also takes a look at how we might be able to put ourselves in the driver's seat a little more when we think about how to improve our general well-being. How does this all sound to you so far? Feel free to drop an emoji in the chat, a thumbs up. Same in the YouTube stream as well. How does this all sound to you? Is this making sense? Whole health? Thanks, Lee. Yeah, I do too. Because goodness knows I've tried a bunch of different diets and I haven't been able to stick with them. They might be easy to start off with, but hard to stick to. And I mean, I could ask the same question of you all in the chat, right? How many of you have made a New Year's resolution that you have not made it to February with, right? I've certainly been there. And so what we're looking at today is not some monumental task that's going to be really hard to stick to. We're looking at really small steps that incrementally allow you to make long-lasting changes. That's the goal here. Thanks everyone for dropping some emojis in the chat. And so now I would like for you to take out a pen and paper or simply sit with yourself and think through these questions. I'll give you about 10 seconds per question just to get it oriented and settled in yourself of where you're coming from in regards to all of these different arenas. So the first one is emotional well-being. So I'd love for you to think. You don't have to type your answer in the chat. Just think to yourself or take a moment to jot something down. How often do you focus on the positive? It can be hard, especially in times of global turmoil and pandemics, but it's still important to think about how often are you taking that positive view of things versus spiraling into more of a negative zone. Secondly, how much movement do you do daily? Again, I didn't ask how many miles you're running or how many hours you spend at the gym. How much movement are you doing? Take 10 seconds or so to think about that. And thirdly, what do you eat each day? It's not about criticizing it or changing it off the bat. It's just observing what's my general pattern of what I tend to reach for when I open the fridge. And finally, take a moment to think about what your sleep patterns are. How much sleep are you getting? What are the disruptions to your sleep? And so now that you've thought a bit about all of this, and you kind of have a foundation for yourself of where you're working from, that's really important. Now that you've thought about all this, I'd love for you to drop in the chat, when was the last time you thought about all of these components together? Never altogether, not often enough. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and this is what whole health is. A lot of you said you hadn't heard of whole health. This is kind of that mindset that we're talking about here. That if you're trying really hard to follow a strict diet, but you're not thinking about how much movement you're getting each day, you're not really trying to get enough sleep, it's going to make that diet so much harder to follow than if you're also working towards improving your well-being in those other arenas. They're all interconnected. Yeah, Lori, I've been there. Great. Well, this is our time to think about it. So thanks for being here with me. So again, given that this is a fresh new year for us, this is a kind of a personal topic, I'm going to ask you to think again to yourself. What is a significant change you would like to make in your well-being? Take a 45 seconds to a minute to think about what's important to you right now. If you think about December 2023, where do you want to have landed in your journey towards whole health? You don't have to answer all of these. You can pick your favorite questions. You can jot them down to yourself. You can share them in the chat if you're comfortable, but I'll give you another 30 seconds or so to try and crystallize, one focus. All right, take a moment to finish up there. And when you have a focus, again, you don't have to share it in the chat, but at least give me a thumbs up to let me know that you have one. A thumbs up or a yes in the chat to let me know you have something in mind. Great, Lori and Lee are both looking at movement. Yes, great, thanks, Lori and Sophia. Yeah, for me, someone asked me a question, I think it was in a yoga class a couple months ago. And that question was, how often is your brain space dedicated to being present? And how much of your brain space is being dedicated to the past or the future? And I was like, whoa, I am not very often in the present moment. I am here with you all. But when I'm, cleaning the dishes or trying to go to sleep at night, I'm either thinking about what happened in the past or planning what I'm going to do the next day or the next week. And so I think for me to have a more positive mindset, that actually comes with staying more present. And so that is a particular goal that I have for 2023. And so now that you've thought about all of these elements, and you've kind of crystallized one major focus, I would love for you to think about these 4 arenas on a scale of 1 to 10. Where are you now with each particular concept? And where would you like to be? It could be you're at 1s for all of them, and 1 being, I don't feel good about this right now, and 10 being, I feel so good about my well-being in this area, right? So take, about 30 to 45 seconds to quickly jot down a number for each one of these concepts. And again, you don't need to share this in the chat. This is for you. Where are you now and where do you want to be? Sure. Yes, Carla. You know what I'll do? I will type those questions in the chat so that you can have them even if we're looking at the main slide. That is a significant change you want to make in your well-being. What is important to you? What matters to you in the long run? What do you truly care about? Awesome. So again, jot down just a number if you had to estimate where you feel like you are now. And where do you want to be realistically? Could be for this month, it could be by December 2023. It's up to you. It doesn't matter what you think you should focus on. This is about what you want to, what you're personally driven to focus on. I believe so, Lori, because this is being live streamed on YouTube. Ben might be able to answer that if he's still on the call. I'm less good with all the tech stuff. All right, so now for a quick reflection on how you rated yourself. Again, you don't need to put anything personal in the chat that you're not comfortable with. I'm curious about if anything surprised you in your assessment of where you're at with these. And if nothing really stood out to you, I'm curious to know which areas or area were you most drawn to? Again, it could be all four, it could be just one of them. Again, which area or areas are you most drawn to? Again, not what you should be focused on, but what you're personally driven and most curious about working on. Great, we have some variety in our responses here. That's great. Yeah, it will all look different for different people. Thanks, Lori and Carla and Lori. Yeah, you may have heard the phrase 10 priorities means no priorities, essentially, that if you have too many things at number one at the top of your list, then nothing's really at number one. And so although we might want to be thinking about all of this as interconnected, right, for whole health, ultimately, our brains can't do multiple cognitive tasks at the same time. We can breathe and blink at the same time, but I can't do a math problem and read a book at the same time. And so that kind of is true for these areas as well, that if we're actively making small changes in each part of our life for all of these, that can quickly become overwhelming. And so for more sustainable improvement and long-term change, it can be really helpful to focus on one or two areas that you're going to pay attention to more consistently. And you can still be working on the others in the background. But I think kind of narrowing down your focus can help essentially keep your journey realistic, that you're not trying to bite off more than you can chew. And I see the irony here that I've been asking you all about each one of these areas individually, but they all are interconnected. There's no ranking or order that's objectively, the truth, right? It's not that sleep is at the top of the list for every single human. These are all connected to each other. How much sleep we get means how much energy we have for physical activity the next day. How well we eat might impact how we feel, right? It goes the other way too. How much physical activity means how tired we're going to be at the end of the day. We might be in a better mood after we exercise or after we get a good night's sleep. So all of these are impacting each other. And really everything ties back into our emotional well-being too. And that's sort of a great first starting point, which is what we're going to focus on for the rest of this workshop, as well as what is the first step in the larger workshop that LearnNet has. Because when you're emotionally healthy, when you have a positive outlook and you're motivated to do things, you're more likely to get all of your to-dos done for all the other arenas. If you feel negative about, how much can I really change, then nothing's going to get done and you won't be able to make improvements in all of these other pillars. And so that's why we start off with emotional well-being. And of course, this is true for you personally, but we bring ourselves into our work. And so thinking about this can be really important no matter the industry you're in, because at the end of the day, we're all humans interacting with each other over the phone, in office spaces, on site, etc. And so it's important to think about what you lose if you don't have whole health encouraged in an organization, as well as all that you have to gain if you do, right? If people are in good moods, they're going to be more proactive about the jobs they take on. If they have positive mindsets, they're not going to want to take days off as much. If they're more excited about the work they're doing, if they're getting enough sleep, they'll be doing better quality work, right? If they're eating well in ways that make them feel good, they'll have longer attention spans and not as many energy crashes. It comes into play with a lot of this. And so it's at this point that I want to start with emotional well-being. Emotional well-being, if I had to put a finger on it, would be the ability to produce positive emotions, thoughts, and feelings. And in other words, how you're able to bounce back to handle life stresses or adapt to change, which I'm sure we've all had to do in the past couple of years. And so I'd love for you to drop in the chat. What is one way that a workplace could support emotional well-being? It doesn't have to be what your workplace is doing right now. It could be an ideal situation. We're not naming our employers. I would just love to hear what's one idea you have for how a workplace could improve emotional well-being for its employees. Could be as simple as having free snacks in the office. That can improve morale. People feel taken care of. It could be monthly affirmations in team meetings. Thanks, Laura. Yeah, providing flexibility. Again, if you aren't taking positive action to support other people, even if you're thinking, oh, I wish this person the best, this person can come to me for any questions that they have. If you don't say it or show it, then the person doesn't know that you have all those good intentions. And the same goes for providing that emotional well-being support. That if you are a manager, or if you have one, it's really helpful to be able to vocalize all that you would like to do, or the flexibility, as Lori said, that you would like to provide. Mm-hmm. Oh, I love that idea, Lori T. Wellbeing support group. That's a new one. And so now I'd like for you to think more personally. And if you're comfortable sharing, what's one thing, one small thing that you would like to do to encourage your own emotional well-being? And again, if you would like to keep it to yourself, you can at least give a thumbs up in the chat so that I know that you have something. My example would be, again, checking myself throughout the day to see, hey, how much time am I spending future tripping or reliving the past? And those simple check-ins are helping me slowly reorient. Yeah, thanks, Leanne. Thanks, Lori. Mm-hmm. Thanks, Sophia. Thanks, Carla. Mm-hmm. Yeah, breathing is so important. I'm really happy you brought that up, Carla. We often forget how much capacity our lungs actually have. And in times of stress, we often start breathing more shallowly and we're not taking in as much breath in one go. And so it can be really important to check in on yourself too, at different points of the workday or in difficult conversations to make sure, am I really breathing at my full capacity? Because when we do that, our heart rate lowers, we're getting more oxygen, and we end up feeling calmer versus spinning into that kind of fight or flight stage. Lori T, man, I love that too. Recognizing accomplishments rather than focusing on failures. I am absolutely a culprit of this. When I get something done, I don't stop to appreciate and say, give myself a little pat on the back. Nice job, right? That doesn't take much time before I have to turn on to the next thing. And that can be really big in terms of improving our own outlooks about ourselves and our work. Great. Keep thinking. Feel free to drop more in the chat. I really want to make sure that we have time for questions. And so I'm actually going to pause what the workshop dives into, and we're going to zoom back out to what you would be able to look forward to if you signed up for the full class. There would be more of these thinking and writing self-reflections like what you've done today. What's really great about our classes is that we always incorporate breakout rooms where people can chat in pairs or in larger groups. And so that is always really helpful and fruitful for people. There are movement activities. I have to say, not every Learn It class is like this. You won't get movement activities in your, Excel 101 class. And I have to say the concept of movement rather than exercise is pretty life-changing for me as well, in terms of recognizing the smaller things I'm doing throughout the day that are still getting my heart rate up, even if I'm not going for a jog. And finally, there's another fun activity in the full class that involves mindful eating. And so you get to snack during class and then talk about it. It's so interesting. So again, this is sort of what you might have to look forward to if you're able to sign up for the full whole health class. But essentially, what I hope you're able to take away, even just from today, is that focusing on the positive can really help our emotional well-being. And it's something that you have complete control over. You're not dependent on anyone else to do this. Thinking about movement in a larger scheme than just going to the gym is really big. Bringing awareness to what you're eating can be a really novel and effective approach to eating more healthfully. And finally, paying attention to what gets in the way of a good night's sleep for us. It's going to be different for every person. And so focusing on breaking those habits that maybe aren't working so well for us and introducing newer habits that are those small changes that we can act on that lead to long-term improvement and change. And so I encourage you all, you already have some thoughts that you shared in the chat or wrote down for yourselves about how you want to move forward in this new year. But I hope that you feel the agency that you have, that you can change what matters most to you in your whole health. And so I'd love for you to type in the chat, what's one small action you'd like to try out? Again, if you're comfortable sharing. It could be in any of these 4 arenas. It could be related to work, not related to work, or you could simply put a thumbs up if you know you have something in mind. What is one small action? And when I say small, I mean small. For example, I have a not so helpful habit of being on my phone before bed. And so maybe if I know I always spend about 30 minutes on my phone before bed, maybe the small action is trying to only spend 25 minutes. Because 5 minutes, hey, I can do that. That's doable for me. If I try and put my phone away completely, it's too much of a shift in in what my body and mind are accustomed to. So those small shifts can really add up. Thanks, Lori. Check in with yourself daily. I'm glad Carla has something as well. What else? Feel free to drop in the chat or simply share a thumbs up. What's a small action you can take? While you're thinking of that, I would like to encourage you again, if you don't have an account on Offsite, for those of you watching through YouTube, I encourage you to do so, offsitebylernit.com. It is a free online community where there are lots of experts in different subject matters. A lot of the Learn It instructors you'll see in the classes, as well as on these public presentations. Articles are shared daily, lots of free events for you to join. And so I look forward to seeing you on there, but I'll be sticking around for another 10 minutes or so because I would love to revisit certain slides of the presentation if people would like. I'm happy to answer questions. this time is for you. So feel free to reach out. I think you might be able to check in with the host privately. If you would like to not have a chat, go to everybody. Just let me know. Thanks, Lori T, also for sharing, committing dedicated time for movement like walking or going to the gym. Yes. I'll share that last slide again. But again, please let me know in the Q&A or in the chat if there are any lingering questions or confusions about what we talked about today. I'd love to clear that up so that you feel really clear on your mission, on the small changes you want to make. Welcome, Tony. I think you logged on after I checked the participants, and Esmeralda. I'm happy you both were able to join us. Thank you, Sophia. Morning reflection. Someone actually, in a different presentation on whole health, asked, well, where am I supposed to start? And I think emotional well-being is helpful because it's true, without that motivation, you're less likely to be able to make those small changes. But I would say for myself, I've learned that sleep can also be a really good first step to do, because if I get enough sleep, I'm going to feel better. I'm going to have more energy to work and move. And I won't be as susceptible to just eating foods that give me quick energy that burns out fast, rather than energy that will sustain me. And so for me, it happens to be sleep. So again, it depends on the person. It depends on your needs. Thanks, everybody, for your thoughts in the chat. Yeah, it depends. And again, if there are any other questions that come up, please let me know. And I will actually share again the link. Pretty sure that's our link in the chat. And you can also go to learnit.com to find the full classes. Thanks, Esmeralda and Lori. All right, I'll stick it around for another minute or two in case anyone had questions that pop up about this class or even anything else related to Learn It. And if not, have a great day and a great year. Thanks, everybody. All right, I'm not seeing any Q&As or questions, so I'll close down the meeting soon unless anyone remaining had anything they'd like to share or ask. I'm seeing Kim, Lori, T, and Sandra are still here. So again, please let me know if you have any questions or thoughts to share before we close out. All right, take care, Kim and Sandra. I wish you both well for a happy and healthy new year. Have a good one.